welcome to another edition of Soulful Eats with Lisa J. Today we are going to do a 2-for-1 special. We're going to do meatloaf and then I'm going to do a pecan pie. So we're going to get started on our meatloaf. So the ingredients for our meatloaf, we need a pound of ground chuck, you're going to need 2 eggs, you're going to need some breadcrumbs, some ketchup, meatloaf seasoning, and you're going to need a little bit of milk. So you're going to take your meatloaf, your ground chuck, and put it in here, crack your eggs, mix them up, and you're going to put that in here. So hold tight, I'm going to show you how this is going to go. So I'm back. So I have my ground chuck here, which is like 80-20. We're going to take this, and yes I did, wash my hands. We're going to take our meat, and we're going to put it in a bowl, break it up. I don't know how you make your meatloaf, but there's all kinds of ways to make meatloaf. This is going to be quick and fast. And this is good for, you know, any night, busy moms come home and you need to throw something on. Meatloaf is the way to go. You can throw it in the oven. It's done for an hour. Cook it for an hour, and then you'll have meatloaf, and then you can put some sides with it. I'm going to have some mashed potatoes and some string beans. Okay, so I've been off work today. My sister's visiting here from LA, and we've been watching all of this talk about P. Diddy. So I know he has a lot going on in his life. I don't know what your take is on it, but you know, seems kind of sketchy, but we'll get off into that on another episode. But right now, I'm finish this meatloaf. So hang tight. Okay, so I have my 2 eggs that I cracked, and you know I like to get in there and take that little membrane out my egg. So we take that out. Take that out because it's gross, and I see a little bit here. I'm gonna take that out too. I don't like that. I hate that in my eggs. And if for those of you who don't know what that is, that's the part of the egg that was attached to the chicken, and I don't like that. It's just kind of gross and nasty. I take it out, and we're gonna scramble this, kind of scramble it up, beat it a little bit, and we're gonna drop it in here. And you know, when you make meatloaf is a kind of a messy thing. You have to use your hands. You can use utensils, but you still got to get in there and mold it. So we're going to put that in here. Now I'm going to put in a 1/2 cup of Italian style breadcrumbs. I could use plain, but I like to have a little flavor, so I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of that. Okay, a little bit more than 1/2. This is to bind, so your meatloaf will shake. Okay, I'm gonna put that in here. And then you're going to need about a 1/2 cup of just regular tomato ketchup. So you got a 1/2 cup of just regular old ketchup. So you're going to put this in here now. Make sure you get all that out. And then we're going to put a 1/2 cup of milk. The milk is what's going to make it moist. It's going to give us some moisture so that the meatloaf is not dry. So we're going to do a 1/2 cup of milk. Okay. And then you might say, oh, that looks kind of messy, but we're gonna mix this all up. And then last but not least, I bought some McCormick's Meatloaf seasoning. It's pretty good. I've used this before. It's really got a good flavor. All the seasonings, the spices that you need, it's right in this package. You don't need to put anything else because then it'll make your meatloaf salty. Don't want that. So now we're going to put this in here. Okay. And now here's the fun part. So I'm going to start off with my little spoon here. Mix this around. But at some point, I'm going to have to put my hands down in here and get this mixed. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my hands, which I've washed. Hands are washed. We're going to get in here with our hands. I'm going to get under the bottom and mix that all around. Okay. Mix it around. Mix this up. And if you think it looks too moist, it's not the way you want it to be, you can add a little bit more breadcrumbs. So to me, I think I need a little bit more, so I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Just to shake a little bit. You know, I don't measure nothing because I don't want it to be too loose. Okay. That's what's going to bind it up, make it nice and firm. Okay, so once you get this mixed up, then the next step is going to be, we're going to put this in our baking dish, and we're going to bake this for about an hour or until the juices that's coming out of this meat run clear. You don't want to see any pink, because that means that your meatloaf is not done inside. So that's looking pretty good to me. Everything is all mixed up. So the next step is going to be, we're going to put this in a bowl, and we're going to put it in our baking dish, and we're going to let it bake. So just stick with me. Hang tight. I'm back. So I have shaped my meatloaf into a loaf. You don't want it to be too thick, don't be too wide. You want to shape it up. Okay. All right, and you're going to put this in and just kind of pat it down so it's nice and even. Don't overwork it because then it'll get greasy. And then at the end, when it's done baking, I'm going to put a glaze over the top that has ketchup, mustard, and brown sugar. We're going to put that over the top, and that's going to be the glaze over our meatloaf. So at this point, your meatloaf is all nice and formed. Put it in the oven. We're going to bake it at 375 for 1 hour. If it's not done at 1 hour, then we're going to come back, stick a fork down in it. If it's still got juice coming out that's pink, it's not done, then we'll leave it in there for another 15 minutes or so until the juices come out clear. So we're going to put it in there, put it in the oven at 375 for 1 hour. So here's my meatloaf, all seasoned up, nice and ready to be put into the oven. So now we're going to put this in here like this, uncovered, 375, 1 hour. We're going to come back in 1 hour, and we're going to see what kind of goodness we got going on with that meatloaf. So 375, and we're going to do our cook time for 1 hour. 1 hour, okay? And now we're going to make the glaze that goes on top of the meatloaf. So it's 3 simple ingredients: plain old ketchup, plain mustard, and 1 tablespoon of light brown sugar. You're going to mix that up until it's nice and smooth. And you're just going to take a basting brush and baste it over the top of your meatloaf. That's going to give it a nice little zing, a little twang, and then give it like a little stickiness, kind of like a sauce. This just goes right over the top. It's a glaze. So in here, I have about 1/4 cup of ketchup, and I'm going to put that in here. put a tablespoon of yellow mustard in there. Okay. A tablespoon of light brown sugar. Okay, like that. And then we're just gonna take this and whisk this all up. And just mix it up until everything is all. So now I'm gonna take my sauce that I made. And take my basting brush. And I'll just base it over the top of this. And then I'm gonna take this, and the little heat from the oven is gonna make like a little glaze. I'm not gonna cook it anymore. I just want that to get kind of a crispy glaze on it. Okay. Okay, that's our meatloaf, and I'm gonna take it, put it back in there for a minute or two, and let that warm over there, and then it'll be done. I'll take it off and put it on a plate and show you what it looks like. Put this back in here, like that. Let the heat from the oven get that kind of melted through. And then we'll take it off, put it on a plate, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Our meatloaf is all finished, and I have some mashed potatoes here that I fixed. And then I have some green beans that I steamed in the microwave. And we're gonna put that, and it's a quick weeknight meal that you can make real quick and easy for your family. But here's our meatloaf all done, and it's ready to go. We're gonna slice it nice and cool. Meatloaf dinner, easy night, quick weeknight meal. Okay, we are back. Our meatloaf is all finished. This is what it looks like. I've sliced it up, and we have mashed potatoes, green beans, and we are getting ready to dig into our meal for this evening. As always, keep watching my videos, like and subscribe. As always, wish you a very good evening, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned for any other videos that I have coming up, because we're gonna have a lot of videos coming out this spring and this summer. So stay tuned. So this is my sister Veronica, and she's got her plate all made up here, and we're gonna see what she says. She's got meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and the green beans with the onions and the tomatoes, and we're gonna see how she is gonna enjoy her dinner this evening.
Well, let me get in here and do the Betty Crocker Taste Kitchen. Okay. My sister is the cook of the family, and she has all of our mother's home cooked recipes, and it is a pleasure to be here to be able to dine with her. So let me test this here meatloaf out right quick, okay?
Good, huh?
Tastes just like our mother just made it, okay?
That's right. Soulful Eats.
Oh, this is so delicious, okay? So I will ask you to pause for the cause so I can chow down, okay? Thank you for sharing the meal, Lisa.
All right,
I appreciate it.
love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.